Happy Sabbath once again, my family, my Hebrew Israelite family. Thank you, Father Yah, for another blessed Sabbath day. Thank you, Father, for using me to bring you glory, Father. Let this message, Father, edify the body of believers. And all be blessed and edified who watch this video, Father. And I'd like to give you the glory, the honor, and the praise for all of it, Father. Thank you for the word Kakadesh and our Messiah, Yahusha, Hamashiach. And family, this message here will be entitled, Will Esau and 83 ever take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites? They will take responsibility for what they have done to us Israelites, family, as well as our ancestors. But they will not do it voluntarily, family. They will not do it voluntarily, because Esau has this perpetual hatred for his brother, and he has taught the other nations to hate us just the same. Back in 2007, once when I was married, I remember coming home from work one day, and now my ex-wife told me, she said that I have a co-worker who are really good friends with me. She's an Asian lady. She's from China. And she said, guess what she told me? I said, what? She said, she told me that when she was going through immigration to come into this country to be a citizen, she said that they have them watching, people from all over the world who are in immigration. They have them watching films and videos, just talking about the black people in America, the Negroes, talking about, look at them. They showing them on video, our communities, a lot of, young dudes hanging out on corners, pants sagging and stuff like that. It was like, they're lazy. They don't like working. They just sell drugs. And, they're very disrespectful to people. So they always paint a bad picture to all people that come to this country through immigration. This is what Esau does. And then these people come in this country, and then you see the hatred that they have for us when we have done them no wrong or no harm. It's because Esau brainwashed them during immigration, all the nations. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they already got a perpetual hatred for us because of Esau, when these people have never even met us yet. So this is the picture that they paint of us so-called Negroes to the other nations when they coming in this country. They paint a real bad picture of Yah's chosen people. So Esau has taught the other nations how to have this same perpetual hatred for us, just like he does. Maybe not all the people. Some people smart, they use their own minds and they give people the benefit of the doubt. I've met a lot of people from different countries, that, don't hate us like Esau, but this is what they do. This is their objective, of trying to get all the nations to hate us. They don't want anybody else joining with us. You know what I'm saying? So this is what they do, and, we know that the vassals and the blassals have all been, cut checks to come into this country to, for their white status. That's what it's about for them. And so this is what we have to deal with as God's chosen people. Okay, so will Esau and 83 ever take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites? As I said before, family, they will, but they won't do it voluntarily. Our Father Yahuwah will make them do it when he sends our Messiah, his only begotten Son, Yahusha HaMashiach, back to this earth. And when they see his power, that's when he's going to make a believer out of them, and he's going to make them take responsibility of what they have done to his people, all those who are allowed to remain alive. Because in this message, you'll see that when he gathered the people, our Father is gathering the world's armies, navies, air forces, and Marines to go down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's also called the Kidron Valley. That is a little north of Jerusalem, Israel. And this is what the Father has showed me way back in 1983, after I had been studying the word of Yah for 3 years straight, some days and nights from sun up to sundown. And so when I was 19 years old, and in one of my dreams, he allowed me to rise high up above the earth. And I was looking down, and I could see armies and tanks, coming from the north, the south, the east, and the west. They was all merging, family, toward the Middle East. And back then, I didn't understand it. But it's right here in Scripture that I'm going to read. He's telling them, get ready for battle. See, he's getting the evil spirits to lead these nations. That's what's been leading the nations all along. These spirits that he had placed among them to lead them astray from him. That could be found in the book of Jubilees. Okay, so he allowed me to see this in a dream. All the world's armies were merging toward the Middle East, going toward Jerusalem. And in my mind back then, and Reagan was president. And there was a lot of talk of World War III back then. So in my mind, that's what they was going to fight for in World War III, or Armageddon or something like that. But actually, this is when he's calling the nations. He's allowing these evil spirits to draw the nations, the world's armies and military people, to merge toward the valley of Jehoshaphat, because this is when he's going to send our Messiah back, when they're all in one area together. He's telling them to prepare for war, but he says that, wait till I read it, he's talking about having a sickle. A sickle is used for, it's a long sharp blade that curves and is used for cutting weeds and grass. But the sickle he's talking about, it's going to be to destroy these armies, these people who have part of his land and sold his people worldwide. He's coming to judge the nations for that. And all the nations, all the people from the nations who he allowed to live, and they will see his power then. This is when they will see his power, and he will make them take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites. Hey, come on, join all those from the nations who have joined with Yah's chosen people. And please, enemies of Yah's chosen people, enemies of Yah, come on, watch this video too, because you're going to see some. You want to see some what they call it, some black black fatigue. Okay, hey, I gotta tell the truth, but I'm gonna be reading Scripture, and those people who hate us, you're gonna get some black fatigue from this message right here. But I got to tell the people what thus says their Adonai. And I'll be reading from the 66th book of Enoch. I got something to read from the Apocrypha and the book of Second Esdras. That will be in the Apocrypha. Okay, so the 66th book of Enoch and the Apocrypha. Okay, so and a little bit from the book of Jubilees. Okay, so I'll be starting by saying, please, family, keep y'all's 10 commandments. They can be found in the book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through 17. Oh, they will take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites. And I've heard many of our people, sometimes it's like they know we deserve and they owe us reparations, but they won't give it to us. I've heard, what's that guy, that Republican guy, the Senate, the Speaker of the House, forget his name, saying that he said something. It was a couple years ago. What has happened to our ancestors. Like a lot of them say, the people who are alive now, they're not the reason why our people went into slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's like, see, they always want to talk about some truth when it fits their narrative. Like these 10 brothers escaped from that New Orleans jail a couple weeks ago, and I think they got 8 of them, and 2 of them still at large. And they tell like, we're offering $20,000, for each head. And see, that fits their narrative. because every Negro, as well as anybody else they got in their jails and prisons, every day that they spend there, that's making one of them rich. Okay? So y'all seem like y'all pretend like y'all love, law and order so much. You know what I'm saying? So be it. Okay, if y'all love law and order so much, let's talk about the true identity of the so-called Negroes. Who is assuming the true identity of the Negroes right now? Let's talk about that right now. Oh, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to talk about what fits their narrative, but what fits our narrative, they could care less. They never could care less about us. We were reduced to 3/5 of a human. Chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? But our time is coming. Our Father has turned back to us, and we have been given the Ruach HaKodesh, and we've been downloaded with all this spiritual knowledge. So that's just a sign that our Father is keeping his promises that he had told our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? So let me start reading out of the book of Job, chapter 3, family. Job, chapter 3. You see, they took, just cutting the check ain't gonna get it. Just cutting the check ain't gonna get it. Of all of what they have done to our people since we've been here, since 1492 and before then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like when they raided Israel in 70 AD, it was a lot of gold. It was a lot of gold in Israel and silver. They still got it. Rome invaded Israel, Jerusalem. They still got the gold that belongs to the Most High. Our people were just stewards over his gold and silver, but they stole his gold. So they got to give all that back. All these nations. And it says in the book of Genesis chapter 15, our people will be afflicted 400 years, and afterwards we will come out with great substance. We coming out with gold, silver, and great substance. Just cutting the check ain't gonna get it because of all the blood that has been shed of our people who died innocently. Okay, Job chapter 3, family. Moving right along. Okay, it says here, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is also called the Kidron Valley, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Okay, jumping down to verse 5. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, the Most High says, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold into the Grecians. See, these people, they hate when we talk about slavery or what the church, the Roman Catholic Church, and the Dutch and the Portuguese reduced us to 3/5 of a human, the chattel slavery. They hate when we talk about that. And I'll just get over it. You know what I'm saying? See, these people in their minds, they think us talking about bad things that they have done, they think the more it's kept hush, that it'll just go away. That's crazy. And then they try to erase our history. You can clean out the libraries of all kind of material and old footage, you know what I'm saying? But the ancestors of ours that y'all slew unjustly, their spirits are in heaven with Yah, and they're crying out for vengeance to our Father for what these people have done to them. That ain't gonna never stop until it's accomplished. You can cry all you want to, these people who look at us as their enemies, trying to erase black history and all that, and hate when we talk about what they have done to us and to our people in the past and even now. They hate when we talk about that. Black fatigue and all that stuff. Okay? Hey, even if we decide to stop talking about it, our ancestors who have been slain, their spirits are still complaining to the Father about those who killed them unjustly, took their land, and all of that. So they don't understand the things of the spirit. The things of the spirit is what make the physical world go around. The one who has everything in his power is the spirit. That's where everything started at, in the spirit realm. They don't get this though. Okay, as I continue, family. That ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For the Adonai has spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. And then he's saying this, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say that I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. He's talking to the heathen nations. Prepare for war. And this is what he allowed me to see back in 1983 when I was 19 years old. In a dream, high above the earth. And he was allowing me to see all the world's military forces from all the nations merging toward Israel. Now I know they was going toward the valley of Jehoshaphat, because that's when he gonna give us Messiah clearance to come deal with the nations. They're gonna have to see his power. They're not gonna voluntarily take responsibility for what they have done to God's chosen people. They're gonna have to see his power, and he knows this. What the Bible says about Esau. He's had so much pride, it's up there where the eagles fly. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to have to let them see his power. And it's going to be done. He's going to destroy the nations. He's going to carry it out by his son, our Messiah, Yahushua Mashiach. Okay, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's also the Kidron Valley, a little north of Jerusalem, Israel. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. He's talking about the harvest of people, these armies. A sickle is used for cutting weeds and grass. He ain't talking about cutting the weeds and grass. He's talking about striking these nations' armies down. That's what he's talking about. He just told them up here, prepare for war, wake up the mighty men. This harvest is a harvest of people and their armies for what they have done. We just read over here what they did to Judah and the children of Jerusalem. They sold them to the Grecians. He's coming to judge the world's nations because of this, family. It's all written. Okay. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. He's going to deal with them. Finally, multitudes in the valley of decision. This is the valley of decision, the valley of Jehoshaphat, the Kidron Valley, family, the valley of decision, where he's going to deal with all the world's military forces, all the nation's military forces. He's going to deal with them all at once. For the day of the Adonai is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Adonai also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Adonai will be the hope of his people. He will be the hope of his people, the Israelites, who the nations have been oppressing for centuries. He's finally finna deliver us from this wickedness that we have been suffering for so long. So shall you know that I am the Adonai, the Most High, Yahuwah, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no stranger pass through her anymore. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with water. And the fountain shall come forth of the house of the Most High, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. For the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that have not been cleansed. For the Most High dwelleth in Zion. Okay? Okay, so he gonna make them take responsibility. When he gather all the nations' armies together in the valley of Jehoshaphat and take the sickle, and harvest these nations' war machines. He got to destroy them. And then all those he allowed to live, they're going to be made a believer out of our Most High and our Messiah, Yahushua, HaMashiach. That's when they're going to start to take responsibility of who we are and what they have done to us, because they're going to be so terrified of our Messiah. And he ain't going to never leave our side no more. He's going to always be in the midst of us. And this is during the time he's going to empower us. He's going to empower us. And this is when when he comes back, he's going to use us to destroy Edom. That's right. And I'll get to that later. Okay, now I'll be moving on, family, to the Apocrypha. 2nd Esdras chapter 15. 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 1 to 10. Now, this is the Most High talking to Esdras. He's telling Esdras to speak to your people. Tell your people to be aware that he's going to take vengeance on all those who have been slaughtering them. Watch this. Check it out. 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 1 to 10. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Adonai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Adonai, I will bring plagues upon the whole world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. He's going to avenge our oppression, family. Check out these verses. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Adonai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth. The innocent and righteous blood crieth. It's been crying out to him all along. Our ancestors' blood, okay? Cried unto me. And the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Adonai, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. He's going to avenge his people who have been led to the flock as a slaughter. He's going to avenge our people, family. This is what he is saying to us. They will definitely take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites, but like I said, they ain't gonna do it voluntarily, because these people are full of pride. Not just Esau, the whole Psalm 83. They're all full of pride. They all look down at us. They got their levels of white status, and we down at the bottom, so they all think they're better than us. They look down on us. You know what I'm saying? With them, it's all about status quo, stuff they got. Physical, material stuff. They get checks from the government, these loans and stuff, to start businesses in our communities. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sees all of it, family. See what I'm saying? Just cutting us a reparation check. Some of us would be cool with that. But him, he's not going to allow them to get his glory. No, he's not going to allow them to do that to get his glory. No, he's got more to come to them. They owe us more than just a check, what I'm trying to say. They owed us the gold and the silver that they stole from him. They took it from our people, but it was his. They got to give all that back. All that back. See, if he allowed them to cut us reparation check, and then when our Messiah comes, then they'll have a story. Well, we did reimburse them something. We did give them something. He ain't, No, he ain't, Now, he knows the end from the beginning. He knows what their argument will be. If he allow them to do that, they're going to take his glory. No, he wants all the glory. All the glory belongs to him. See, when he comes, we get more than a check. Now, we get gold, silver, and we're leaving with much substance. All the land going to be ours. They're going to be working for us. And you see, he going to get all that glory by the workings of our Messiah, Yahushua Mashiach, against these nations that have been oppressing us since 1492 and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Know your father. Know your father. You ain't letting them go out that easy by giving us some checks. No, we just going to have to hold tight. Even if he allowed them to give us that, they still owe more. He said, don't take a present or a gift for blood. We're going to get to that later. Okay, now our family, I'll be going in the book of Enoch. See, all the ones who he allowed to live, that he ain't struck down with his sickle, they going to recognize who we are. And they're going to be doing everything we say because they're going to be so terrified of him. Okay, Enoch chapter 89, Enoch 89, verse 26 to 33 first. Okay, here we go. I saw also the Adonai. Now remember this. We talking about the 70 shepherds here. That will be Esau and the Psalm 83 nations throughout the centuries, okay? We have had us, the sheep, in their custody. Okay, now we are the sheep, Israel, we're the sheep. And the 70 shepherds are described as all kind of beasts and birds of the air and stuff. And then our Messiah is described as the Lord of the sheep. Okay? Understand that. Okay, now watch what it says. Enoch chapter 89, verse 26 to 33. I saw also that the Adonai of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter, or the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and the birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them. Recompense. Okay? These people don't seem to understand what you put out is what you get back. They don't get it though. I saw too that a large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all the beasts of the field to slay them. But all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away from their face. Okay, and I saw a throne erected in a delectable land. Upon this sat the Adonai of the sheep, who received all the sealed books which were opened before him. Then the Adonai called the first 7 white ones and commanded them to bring before him the first of the first stars, which preceded the stars whose form partly resembled that of horses, the first star which fell down first, and they brought them all before him. And he spoke to the man who wrote in his presence, who was one of the 7 white ones, saying, take those 70 shepherds, those are the nations, to whom I delivered up the sheep, and receiving them killed more of them than I commanded. See, they got to pay for all that. They don't understand this spiritual stuff, you know. That's why they hate this book. You know, they understand that, you know what I'm saying, they hate to face the music when it's time for them to be paid back. They try to hide stuff, and they think that gonna make it go away just because they hide it. They think that can make slavery and all what it costs our people and what it's gonna cost them for what they did. They think it just can make it go away as long as nobody ain't talking about it. So they don't understand the things in the spirit. It's what makes everything go around in this world. Behold, I saw them all bound and standing before him. First came on the trials of the stars, which being judged and found guilty, went to the place of punishment. They thrust them into deep and full of flaming fire and full of pillars of fire. Then the 70 shepherds were judged, and being found guilty were thrust into the flaming abyss. Jumping down to 39 to 40. Okay? Verse 39 and 40. I also saw that the Adonai of the sheep produced a new house, a great and loftier one than the former, which he bound by the former circular spot. All its pillars were new, and its ivory new, as well as more abundant than the former ancient, which he had brought out ivory. And while all the sheep which were left were in the midst of it, all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of heaven fell down and worshipped them, petitioning them and obeying them in everything. See, when I Most High Yahuwah Elohim Almighty sends our Messiah back to execute his judgment, the Most High is going to use Yahushua HaMashiach to execute his judgment against these people, these 70 shepherds, for what they have done to his people. The Messiah, our Messiah, he does nothing outside the will of our Father. You remember when he came the first time as a sacrificial lamb? He told them, he said, you know, I didn't come of my own. He said, I say those things my Father told me to say. I only do those things my Father told me in advance to do. Just the same way, when he come again, he ain't doing nothing outside of the Father's will. He coming to do exactly what the Father wanted him to do, and he going to be saying again exactly what the Father wanted him to say. All this stuff that you read about what's going to be taking place when our Messiah comes in the midst of us and have these people fall down and worshiping us, petitioning them and obeying them in everything. They're going to be doing this because they're going to be so afraid of our Messiah. But our Messiah is just executing the will of the Father, family. This is the Father's will. You know what I'm saying? They will take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites. But they will be made to do it because they ain't going to volunteer on their own. You know, they're going to have to see a power more powerful than their own. That's what's going to make them do it. And they're going to see how many of them he killed. And they're going to be scared crapless forever. And they will serve us for 1,000 years in this earth. If they want to be a part of Yah's kingdom in this earth for 1,000 years, Yahushua Mashiach's kingdom, they're going to have to serve Israel. It says that in the 66. If they don't serve Israel, those nations will be utterly wasted. So they will take responsibility, but he going to make them. They're going to have to see his power. And he knows this because they're so full of pride. This is their heaven right now. You think they're going to give it up? No, they like having their foot on our necks. And it's written in the book of Esdras or Jubilees that, you know, with them, I would say, okay, they say that they're the Son of God. Okay, let us do these things to them and see if he come and avenge them. See, that's how they are. They got to see. He gonna have to show them his power to make believers out of them. And that's what's gonna make believers out of them. All the ones who he allowed to stay alive. Okay? That's what scripture says. I'm just putting it out there raw like that. You know, if this giving you black fatigue, I'm sorry. This is the truth. You know what I'm saying? You know, people like staying away from the truth. All this stuff was hidden from us. No. He said during the time, you know what I'm saying, you know, his people going to stand up with great boldness and tell those who have been oppressing them all these things. He already spoke it. It's just been carried out. Scripture's just been fulfilled. Okay, so I'm going to read 40 again. And while all the sheep which were left were in the midst of it, all the beasts of the earth, that's talking about them, they're described as beasts, and all the birds of heaven fell down and worshiped them. They worshiped the sheep, petitioning them and obeying them in everything. In everything. And as long as they want to live in that kingdom, they will have to continue to do this for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years. Now, family, I'll be moving on to the book of Jubilees. Book of Jubilees. Put on my glasses for this one. These words are so tiny. If I squeak, I can see them, but you know, my readers. Jubilees chapter 21, verses 19 to 20. See, Jubilees chapter 21, verse 19 to 20. See, And this is Abraham talking to Isaac. Okay? And he's telling him, and take no gifts for the blood of man, lest it be shed with impunity, without judgment. For it is the blood that is shed that causes the earth to sin. And the earth cannot be cleansed from the blood of man, save by the blood of him who shed it. And take no present or gift for the blood of man. Blood for blood, that you may be acceptable, that you may be accepted before the Adonai, the Most High Elohim. Okay? So, for them just to try to cut us a check for all that they have done to our ancestors and to our people currently, this would be wrong for us to just accept a reparation check. You know, and then after Abraham died, Isaac told his son Jacob the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So y'all ain't gonna let them off the hook like that. After what all of our people been through, you know what I'm saying? Like they still giving you know, the ones in Israel, the ooze, they still, America give them, I think what, $2 billion a month? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's still currently that, but at one while it was something like that because of what they experienced, that people experienced during World War II. I mean, it's like, that was Germany doing that to them. You know, that wasn't America. I mean, but you know, see, this is giving that, that's taxpayer money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but now we, what, $37 trillion in debt. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, the money sure didn't come to us Israelites. They didn't give that money to us. For real. Only kind of loan I ever got from a credit union was no more than $5,000 twice. I paid both of them off. So ain't nobody gave me nothing. But our Father is going to send our Messiah back, family. That's the truth of the matter. It's in scriptures. And he's going to make them take responsibility for what they have done to the Israelites, his people. When they see his power poured out against them, you know, then they're going to see it ain't no joke. Okay, I'm going back to the 66, and I have a verse, and I'll be starting out here. For the rest of the way, I'll be in the 66. I'll be going back to the book of Job, chapter 2, verse 18. And it says here, and I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen. So a reproach, a disappointment. We have been a disappointment to them, a disapproval. You know what I'm saying? Just because of how we look, just because of how we act. And all Psalm 83. Yah had made us a disapproval, a disappointment to them. But he says, I will no more make you a reproach. That's what a reproach means. Disappointment, disapproval. I will no more make you a reproach among the nations. He gonna clean all that up. It'll be our time, but he gonna be with us. He's gonna be with us. Now it says in the book of Genesis chapter 15, you know, that, you know, we'll be afflicted by a nation for 400 years, and afterwards we will leave with great substance. But family, understand scripture. It says that because of our ancestors' sin, we went to the tail, and he's going to cause our enemies to be the head. Now, do you really believe that they're going to cut? It's yet to be seen, because it said that nation. It ain't talking about all the rest of the nation. It said the nation will be afflicted for 400 years, you know. But I ain't going to try to drop no salt on it and make it seem like it can't happen. But, you know, I know that when we leave these nations will be when our Messiah comes. It says in Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. Matthew 24, verse 31. It says here, understand, family, we ain't leaving these nations till he come. Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. It says, and he shall send his angels with a great sword, And he shall send his angel with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. That will be Israel, from the four winds, from one end of heaven even unto the earth. The earth is his first heaven. Okay? That's when he comes, our Messiah. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. This is verse 30. In the heavens. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Verse 31. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds. That's north, south, east, and west. That's when we will be leaving the nations, when he comes. You know, we ain't finna come up in Esau's kingdom, because they're still in power. They ain't finna give us nothing. Don't y'all know these people by now? They ain't finna give us nothing. All they gonna cut us billions and millions and trillions of dollars in checks while they still in power and allow us to get up out of here. Even Muammar Gaddafi, the once upon a time former president of Libya, was trying to give Black America $1 billion. This government wouldn't let him give it to us. That was just $1 billion. Now, do you actually think Esau and the American government gonna allow us to leave with billions and trillions of dollars while they still in power? And I know y'all know these people better than that. They ain't finna do that. When we leave these places, our Messiah is gonna be here. When we come back up, it says Esau is the end and Jacob is the beginning of that follow. You know what I'm saying? When Esau's kingdom is smashed, that's when we Jacob rise up, but that's when our Messiah said, that's when I'd rather receive mine. Because I don't trust this kingdom. I don't trust Esau's kingdom. It's full of evil spirits, and that's who give them, you know, their knowledge and how to do things. That's why everything is based on lies. Because the spirits that Yah has placed among them to lead them away from him, they are leading Esau and these Psalm 83 nations. That's why this kingdom is so messed up. Everything is based on lies. You know, I wouldn't really want no come up in Esau's kingdom. You know, it's just temporary. But ours is going to be forever. You know, and our Messiah, I mean, the way things are going, he probably be here in less than another 10 years. Now, I'm just talking about my own head now. I'm just saying the way things are going, he could come any day. You know, he could come within the next few years. These people, you see, Israel is full of fires and stuff now, and you know what I'm saying? These governments are crumbling. But I mean, hey, if they give us reparations, I'll be surprised if they do that before our Messiah comes. You know what I'm saying? It says we will leave a great substance, but when he come, all these nations up in their gold and silver and every other valuable you know, and any other valuables they have, as far as like diamonds or whatever. But it says gold and silver. They took that from him when they invaded Israel. You know, so they got to return all that back. Yeah, man, what Italy got? They got the second largest gold reserves in the world, in the Vatican Bank. Man, there ain't no gold buried nowhere in Europe. All the gold they got, England, they stole gold from Africa. All that gold came from Africa. You dig? All those European nations. Psalm 83, the colonizers. That's all they do is rape, rob, murder, and steal, and take people's lands. You know, divide and conquer you. But our Messiah is going to be sent here by the Most High. He's going to put a stop to it. They're going to be forced to take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites, according to scriptures. And now, finally, I'll be moving on over to the book of Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 3. And here we go. Verse 13 to 20. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. The Adonai hath taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thine enemy, the king of Israel, even the Adonai is in the midst of thee. That's when he going to be in the midst of us. Okay? Thou shalt not see evil anymore. He going to be with us. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear not. This ain't happening in Esau's kingdom with us. This going to be when he comes. He going to be in the midst of us. That's what this is talking about. He going to be with us. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not. And in Zion, let not thine hands be slack. The Adonai thy Elohim in the midst of thee is mighty. He going to be in the midst of Israel. Okay? He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. He going to sing to us. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the silent assembly who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. The reproach, okay? Disapproval, disappointment. He's taking all that away. And the nations will not see us as that no more, because he's going to be in the midst of us. And they're going to be terrified of him. Okay? Behold, at that time, I will undo all that afflict thee. He will undo all that afflict us. Okay? And I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. That's every nation on this earth, family. All of them look down on us right now in Esau's kingdom. But in Jacob's kingdom, when he's in the midst of us, all that's going to be flipped upside down. You know, he's going to get us fame then when he's in the midst of us. Verse 20, at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth. And I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Adonai. Turning back our captivity. Now I'm going, okay, I got one more in Enoch. I didn't see. I think I just added that today. The rest of this was done last night. I added Enoch, and I got another one, Ezekiel, to close out. And so just two more passages. Enoch chapter 22, verse 48. It says here, these places in which they dwell shall they occupy unto the day of judgment, and until their appointed period. And this is another example to show when a person is murdered unjustly, their spirit cries out to the Father in heaven, asking him to bring judgment on the person that took their life. So if we stop talking about what happened to our ancestors in chattel slavery, being reduced to 3/5 of a human, if all of us choose to stop talking about it, the spirits of our ancestors in heaven are still complaining to our Father until he brings judgment down on these people and their offspring. That's what the spirit of a person does when they've been murdered unjustly. Okay? Now this is an example right here of what this angel, Raphael, was taken by the will of our Father, was taking Enoch, showing him different things in heaven, showing him everything. Okay, verse 5 says, their appointed period will be long, even until the great judgment. And I saw the spirits of the sons of men who were dead, and their voices reached to heaven while they were accusing. Then I inquired of Raphael, an angel who was with me, and said, whose spirit is that, the voice of which reaches to heaven and accuses? He answered, saying, this is the spirit of Abel, who was slain by Cain, his brother, and who will accuse that brother until his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth. See, the spirits of our ancestors are still in heaven, pleading with Yah to take vengeance on what has happened to them and to their people in this earth. And that ain't going to stop until it's been carried out in this world. So if we stop talking about what happened to our people in slavery, and we stop talking about us being reduced to chattel slavery and 3/5 of a human, our ancestors are still speaking to Yah on behalf of the nation of Israel. You better believe that. So these people, y'all don't know the half. I'm talking about those who consider us their enemies, family. They don't know the half. They don't know the half. They think just because they stop talking about stuff, that make it go away. Not by a long shot. Y'all got so much to learn. I mean, now in, okay, what's that? Verse 8, until his seed perish from the seed of the human race. Okay. Now, in closing, now it says here in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, you know, when Yah take his vengeance out on Esau, that will be when he come. That's when Esau's kingdom gets taken down, when our Father, Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, sends our Messiah, Yahushua Mashiach, back to this earth to take down Esau in 83. This is what's going to be going on then. He's going to empower us, and he's going to have us to take Esau out. But he's going to be with us. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 14. And it says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said Adonai Elohim. Okay, family, so will Esau in 83 take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites? You bet your bottom dollar. But they won't volunteer doing it. They will be made to do it when our Messiah sends our Messiah back to this earth. He's going to make them take responsibility. Okay, family? So it shall be done. Okay, so this has been, will Esau and 83 take responsibility of what they have done to the Israelites? I hope you got some understanding in Yah's precious name. So until next time, may Yah bless you, your families. Stay safe, one love, and shalom.